Hi everyone, it's Denise from Dobby Books, and today I'm taking a road trip to Santa Barbara to an annual book sale. I'm not remembering the name now. When I get there, I'll give you more info, but I'm taking this beautiful drive along the California coast. The skies are clear, the temperatures are fabulous. It's just such a beautiful view. It's a shame I can't turn the camera around right now, but I'll try to give you some more views. This is a big, huge sale that's like a big warehouse, and all the proceeds go to charity. The staff is fabulous. It's where I have found a lot of the missing pieces to book collections that I've been going through, trying to complete. It was one of the places that I was able to finish the collection of the, not the Charlie Bone series, the Pendragon series that my son collected when he was in junior high school. And I was able to bring that whole collection to him, all prettied up, and the hardcover dust jackets covered in Mylar. Just really, I was able to complete the collection and give him that collection for his 30th birthday. So I'm looking forward to going to this sale again this year, and I'll provide you some more visuals as I go along. Bye. Hi everyone, I'm back. So I finally finished getting the books that interested me today. I don't even know when I got here, but it's been a few hours, I know that. And the only reason I stopped is because I was tired. I brought 2 reusable bags, that you put books in, and I filled them both. And I made the rounds several times. And today I spent, I think, $43.70, and I filled 2 bags of books. I'm tired, I'm hungry. It's now 3:30 Pacific time on this Friday, September 12th. I'm going to go get some lunch, and later on I'm going to put together a video. I want you to see some of the scenery here. I'm going to put together a video to show you the books that I purchased today. And this is a sale that's going to be going on into next week. And as each day progresses, they start doing sales. So they take a little more off this day, they'll take a little more off the next day. So I might have missed out on that, but because of my work days not being regular, I have to come here when I have a day off. So anyways, when I get home and after I get everything organized and whatnot, whether that's today or tomorrow, I will show you all the books that I've purchased today at this huge, humongous annual book sale in Santa Barbara. I'll see you in a little bit, guys. Hi everyone, it's Denise from Dobby Books, and today I'm going to show you all those books that I got at that annual book sale in Santa Barbara. I didn't even count how many books I got, but now we are today. So here we go. First one, The Last of the Mohicans by James Fenimore Cooper. This is a good copy. The pages aren't that yellowed. This is a Modern Library Classics. And of course, this is going to help with my classics collection. I was trying to look for those classics. So that's one of them. Another one I found is by David Hume, Dialogues Concerning Natural Religion. There's a couple of his essays I wanted to get. This is the second of those 2. I forgot what the first one was. It's somewhere there. The next one I got is by Edith Wharton, The House of Mirth. another one for my classical book collection. This one also is in great condition, but I did notice that half the pages are browner than the other. I don't think you're going to see it here. But at least on this side, half the pages are whiter and half the pages are more yellow. It's weird, but it's not that way for the top. It's interesting. This is a publication by Scribner Paperback Editions. So that's another one for my classics collection. The next one I got, another one for the classics, by Epictetus, The Discourses, the Handbook and Fragments. So there's another one. And this is a publication by, oh, I know that label, I just can't remember the name. Everyman. There we go. The next one I got was a Penguin Classics Deluxe edition of Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert. That's a pretty one. I like that. Of course, you know, the French flaps and everything that you get with the Penguin Classics Deluxe, and you have the deckled edges. So that's another one to add to my Penguin Classics Deluxe editions, plus my classics. And this is one that goes into the modern library that I have. And this one falls under the category of religion. There's a few I've been trying to find. And I also got this book recommendation from the Well-Educated Mind reading list. And this one is The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins. And I think these two are going to be going into the same little category of the religion category. The next one I got, this is the one I was looking at, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. This ought to be useful. And I looked at the copyright date and said, okay, well, this was published in 2014. All right, so it's not that old. You know, 10 years old or so, and it's a good topic. And then I walked away a couple of times and it still bugged me, like I should have gone back to get it. So I went back to get it. What you must know about memory loss and how you can stop it, choosing a safe course of action that works for you. And kind of going through it, it has very useful information. I'm sure there's been a couple of recent insights that science has also learned, which I can add to this. But I guess it was my good people on the other side telling me, you need to get this. Okay, you need to get this. You're old. You need to get this. So I got it. All right, there we go. I got it. And the next one I got. Now, I've heard about this thing a lot, the story behind it, and it just intrigues me. I'm curious. And I never really found a good copy when I looked around. They weren't in good condition or they weren't complete. And this one is complete and it's a hardback. And some of you may have heard this. I am so curious. It's called A Course in Miracles. It's got the text, the workbook for students, and the manual for teachers. So this is going to be interesting to do some researching through. I don't know if you know about this text, but there were two people, I think they were psychologists, very atheistic in their leaning, right? And one of them began to get this series of, how would I explain it? Inspired readings. It was a single chain of thought. The person understood that, but this was not something that came from them. They knew that. So this was just a very interesting how it came about. So I was curious. I wanted to see what it had to say. So there we go. It's an excellent condition. I don't even know if it was ever read. It really is an excellent condition. So there we go. That's another one for the religion pile. Okay. Now, next bag. Another one for my classics collection, specifically my Shakespeare collection. I already have this play, but the reason I got this particular one is because this is an Ignatius Critical Edition. And I have a couple of those. I have one of those. This one is for Hamlet. And the reason I like the Ignatius Critical editions is because, let's say you get a Norton Critical Edition, for example. Most of the critical essays in that book, Norton Critical Editions, will be more of a modernist approach, postmodernist approach, let's say. But when you go to the Ignatius Critical editions, it's a more traditional approach. And they define traditional approach as something that is more linked to the Judeo-Christian tradition. So they're asking different kinds of questions. They're posing different kinds of theories, suggestions, etc. And I think it's good to get as many sides as you can. And that's why I was really pulled in by this one. And this was also in absolutely wonderful condition. There isn't even any marginalia in it at all. So this goes to my Shakespeare, specifically Norton Critical Edition. And going on that one, I found another Ignatius Critical Edition, King Lear. Now, I don't know if I have King Lear already. I'm looking. All right, I have King Lear in the Folger edition. Okay, so this is going to be, yeah, so this will be my second King Lear under Ignatius Critical Editions, which will give me more of a traditional critique as opposed to the modern or postmodern critique. And the other one that I already own is this one, Great Expectations, another Ignatius Critical Edition. So now I've got 3 for my whole collection. The next one I found, of course, is a book I've heard about. And really, if it weren't for BookTube, there's so many books I would not have heard about. This one has gotten some good reviews from fellow BookTube readers and elsewhere. And it is a book in translation by Muriel Burberry. Was there a translator in this one? Probably not. No, this was not translated. Yes, this is translated from the French by Alison Anderson, The Elegance of the Hedgehog. And these were in, there were several copies of these. This was a section under literature that had several copies of these newer editions for all kinds of titles. It was fantastic. So I got this one. And this one has the French flaps, which I like very much. That will go under, let me move this here. There. All right, next one I got. This one was, there was something I was looking for. They had the feminist literature section, and I was looking for a particular one. I think it was Fighting for the Vote. I could be wrong on the title. I'll flash it on the screen if I find it. But it was a historical record. It's a monograph on the fight that women had here in the United States to win the vote and how brutal that was at times. That's the one I was looking for, but I couldn't find it. But I did find this, The Essential Feminist Reader, and this is an anthology of various feminist authors. And it starts as early as 1405 with an author in France, Christine de Pizan. Christine de Pizan, which I'm familiar with that author. And Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, she's from Mexico. She was a nun, just an excellent writer. Sojourner Truth, Harriet Taylor Mill, Henrik Ibsen, Susan B. Anthony, W.E.B. Du Bois. Gosh, these are the worst glasses to wear for reading. Association of African American Women for Research and Development, Simone de Beauvoir. All these different names. I thought, wow. Gloria Anzaldúa. Gosh. Speeches at the Women's Conference, Annual Women's Conference. Just wonderful, a wonderful collection of feminist writing. So I decided to get this one to be adding to my collection. And another one, A Distant Mirror by Barbara Tuchman. I've been wanting this for a while on my little list. This talks about medieval life, and it goes beyond just the top. It works, it's all encompassing. It covers all the different peoples here in the back. It's dealing with the 14th century. It says she reveals to us both the great rhythms of history and the grain and texture of domestic life as it was lived, what childhood was like, what marriage meant, how money, taxes, and war dominated the lives of serf, noble, and clergy alike. And she goes into various topics, which I think is wonderful because it adds more layers to this time in history. And I've heard both good and bad, critiques on Barbara Tuchman's writing on this book, in this book, but it's still something that I wanted to have in my history collection. So there's that one. And the next one I got, Harvest of Fire, A History of Latinos in America by Juan Gonzalez. This is on my list of books that I wanted to get on Latin American history here in the United States, plus, of course, in other countries in America. But this was on my list, and I always had it like here on the shelf. I know I moved it somewhere, but I'm going to be able to check this off the list. So yay! And another one from that list, maybe, I could be wrong, is Bad Mexicans, Race, Empire, and Revolution in the Borderlands. And this is an interesting topic. I wondered with that title, I thought, what the heck's that about? And here on the back it says, Bad Mexicans tells the dramatic story of the Magonistas, the migrant rebels who sparked the 1910 Mexican Revolution from the United States. Led by a brilliant but ill-tempered radical named Ricardo Flores Magón, the Magonistas were a motley band of journalists, miners, and migrant workers determined to overthrow Mexico's dictator Porfirio Diaz and oust U.S. imperialists such as Guggenheim and Rockefeller. The rebels had to outrun and outsmart the swarm of U.S. authorities vested in protecting the Diaz regime. Porfirio Diaz, I believe, was the first president or the second president of Mexico, and he really wanted to modernize Mexico, and he wanted to do it overnight. And he had many investors from Europe and the United States coming in and what have you, but he pushed away the everyday Mexican, the poor, or the lower class Mexicans. The middle class had it okay, but it was mostly the upper classes who were profiting from this. And this would explain the frustrations of the individuals involved in this rebellion. Porfirio Diaz, they really felt, was selling off Mexico. He wasn't doing anything for his people. He was just trying to give Mexico a modern image so that the world would think, well, we're equal to you. And he did that in a very narrow-minded way. And, of course, the United States has had its history of interfering in Latin American politics, which they had no business doing. And this is just one example of that in Mexico. And that is it. Those are all my books. So let me see how many there were. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 3, yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 books. I don't know how I can hold these up. Let me see. Oh, I hope I don't break my neck. I got 15 books. Here we go. These are all the books I got at the big sale yesterday. 15 books. And they ranged in price from $1 to $3. Yeah, anywhere from $1 to $3, and I paid $43.70 for 15 books. That's awesome. And then yesterday I got in the mail something I ordered from eBay. Classical Rhetoric for the Modern Student. There is a website. There is a YouTuber. He is a professor of, his specialty is poetry. And he was talking about books that we can use for self-education, and this was one of his recommendations. I'm going to be putting his link in the description box. He's a fascinating young man, just fascinating, just love it. But this was one of his recommendations, and so I ordered a good copy, or so I thought. I think this is World Books or something. And that's the only drawback when you order from these warehouses on eBay rather than an individual. You can't get pictures of the product. And they described it as very good condition. I don't think I would have purchased it otherwise. And when I got it, I realized it's ripped here. So now I've got to go to Brodart online and order the things I will need specifically for books to repair this. Other than that, it's fine, but I'm not going to give this a very good review on eBay because they really should have revealed something as big as that kind of thing and never have listed it in very good condition, not even good condition. So there we go. That's it, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you all in a few days. Bye-bye.